Of course, it's a special privilege to teach Jen's case. If I tear up, you'll excuse me. Every time I read the case, I tear up. So, in any event, it's good to have you all back. Welcome back. To me, the case is about coping with the challenges that life serves up to all of us sooner or later. Nobody gets away scot-free. And this is a great case about coping behavior. The second thing to me is it's about creativity and a creative response to a need. Creating value. To me, that's what they've done together. They've created value. Unfortunately, most people in society take value out. But this is a case where they have really built up the value through their own creativity. And the last thing the case is about is courage. Physical and moral courage. I just happen to know, because we correspond by email to get ready for today, that Jen just had surgery again. Here she is today. That's a case of coping, creativity, and courage. So I think Jen and David, if you would join us and take over.
Thing I really want to say from both of us is thank you to all of you, because when I think about the last 3 years and what's made the hugest difference, it's that this really is it's not about me. And I think you heard it at the beginning of the video. What's most gratifying to me is it might have started with me, but it's been embraced by so many of you, and hundreds of you, whether you were sweating in New York on January 31st or you were doing remote locations, whether it's in Austin or Seattle or LA, or you donated your time, your dollars, your products, your resources. The event really, to me, is a huge reflection of my HPS community, my family, and I can't thank you enough. I don't think Dave and I would have gotten through this, forget about the event, but just all that I've been going through without all of you. So thank you so, so much. And it was amazing listening to everyone speak, because it's like you live in our heads. you live in all the wonderful discussions that we have all the time about our baby. And I think Carl said, like, giving your baby up for adoption. We love Sloan Kettering. I mean, they save my life every single day. And the fact that I'm here 4.5 years later is just a testament to them and the doctors and nurses and Abby and her team who help me every day. So I am so indebted to them. And at the same point, it's your baby. And it has been the hardest thing in my life to try and give up a little bit control as we grow. So a lot of what you said is absolutely spot on. And why don't I just spend a minute or two answering some of the questions that you guys had, and then tell you a little bit about what we're doing next year. Because I think the exciting thing is a lot of the good ideas that you guys had are things that we're starting to figure out. The first thing is, Sarah, it's great to see you. But Sarah, hit it, I think, on the nail on the head. Is, sarcoma is an orphan disease, and they call it orphan because it doesn't get the love or attention it needs from the pharmaceutical companies, because they're too busy fighting to find the money for more broad cancers. Only 10,000 people a year get sarcoma. And I think, Julie, you said there are lots of different types of sarcoma. In fact, my type of sarcoma is kind of a lump of sarcoma that they don't even know what it is. So they don't even have really a name for it. So I think we made, again, a marketing decision to Sharon said, I'm a marketer, Sharon's a marketer, is we could focus on sarcoma, and then it's really about me. And we've met a lot of great people who have sarcoma, and they're part of this, and you've heard some of them out there. But if we focus on sarcoma, there's no way I would have gotten on the Today Show. There's no way that we would have gotten the participation that we did from so many teams who have so many other orphan cancers, neuroblastoma, brain cancer, pancreatic cancers. So it was a branding and strategic decision that we have to go broader to get people involved. The other thing is Sloan Kettering wouldn't have been as interested in helping us, because the minute Sloan Kettering goes down a road of we're going to help a charity that focuses on a little itty bitty cancer, to have 4 people dedicating full time, getting access to the databases, it wouldn't have happened. Now, that being said, it's something that we always question. Did we do the right thing? We want to have a mission. We want to have a purpose. There's so many orphan cancers out there. Are we really helping? We're definitely building awareness of are we getting closer to a cure? And I sat yesterday in Professor Grossman's class, and he said, you need to have a specific mission. And I said, oh, I don't know if we have a specific mission. We have to think about that. So I think that's really hard. I think the other thing is, I think James nailed it, which is we talk a lot about do we need an executive director, and I think a lot of the success of the PAMAS Challenge has been they have this amazing executive director who is paid very well on a commission basis to bring in the big money, and he's been able to do that. And I think one of the things that we don't have an answer for, but at least I struggle with, is have we made the right decisions? Because James, you got it. Dave and I both have full-time jobs, and I'm dealing with my health, and Sloan Kettering seemed like the best answer. They're an amazing group. They have amazing reach. They have amazing doctors, and I love them personally for helping me. Have we let that easy short-term solution get in the way of really what we should be doing? We don't know. I think in the next few years we're going to have to figure that out as we grow. In a wonderful way, they've done so much of the work for us because, as you guys saw from the case, I mean, their average customer makes $150,000 a year, so they purposely only build gyms in very high-income, attractive areas. So in a way, it's like a great footprint that aligns really nicely with Sloan Kettering and where they get their support from. So, we work closely with Sloan Kettering at the same time, with Equinox at the same time. If there is a lot of interest in a community like Austin that doesn't have an Equinox, we have no exclusivity. We can absolutely do something at any gym that's interested. So, if there was an Equinox in Austin, they wouldn't let us do that, but until there is. The things that we've really pushed Equinox on, which is exciting. Last year was like the first year they really got involved at a corporate level. The first 2 years, we did it totally under the rug at my local gym, and I don't think this was in the case. I read it, but I don't think it was in the case. Is I actually went to Equinox last year to the corporate headquarters, and I said, I don't know if you know this, but we've raised almost $1 million at one gym, and they had no idea because they're run like fiefdoms, and they loved it. So last year was the first year they were dipping their toe in. The good news is that they are really, really on board because their whole mantra is it's not fitness, it's life. And someone else made a comment about making it broader and about perseverance, and that's exactly what their brand mission is. And that's, I think, why we align so well, because that's how I've been living my life. So the few things that we've really asked them to focus on are, one, if we want access to all 47 gyms, they created something on their website called Life Stories, because the big thing is we need to find patients and we need to get doctors involved. Sloan Kettering has been really helpful in letting us get to the doctors. Once we pitch the doctors, they will go to their patients because we can't, because of privacy laws, go through patients, which is such a challenge. I wish that were not the case, but I personally am thankful for privacy laws. So Sloan Kettering is helping us get after doctors. We are using Equinox as an opportunity to go after patients. So they've created something called Life Stories, and if you go on their website, you can enter and say, I have this amazing life story about how fitness has helped me through a disease. And what we're hoping to do is hopefully use that as a feeder to find more people across the country who are interested in helping. As well, all the time I feel like we get letters from people who are patients who want to get involved. So that's just going to take time to get that patient database, but that's absolutely a priority for what we want to do. So we're asking Equinox to help with that. The other two things that Equinox is going to help us with is Equinox has amazing relationships at the corporation level. So for instance, at my company, I work at MTV Networks. When I joined, they said, would you like to be a member of Equinox? We give you a 10% discount. So what Equinox is going to be doing is making sure that they advertise the event through all of those corporations, which could be great for us because one of the big things we want to focus on is corporate teams, which we haven't really done yet. And the last thing is we're focusing a lot on this cycle in a box idea. I think that the thing that makes us reluctant to expand too quickly is that we raised a ton of money, but it was a ton of energy and focus to make that happen. And if you look at the satellite teams, there's a lot of opportunity there, but they don't raise a lot of money. So we don't want to put a lot of resources into something until we know that we can make an ROI on it. So what we're doing is we're creating something called Cycle in a Box, and we're giving it to anyone who's interested, but more importantly to the Equinox locations. So next year we're focusing on New York and Chicago. In New York, we're going to have 2 locations. Equinox is going to kind of make it an uptown, downtown challenge or an east side, west side challenge and get their clubs involved to sign up people. And we're going to be focusing in Chicago largely because Dave's family is from Chicago and we feel like they can be our executive director in Chicago. But we're doing a cycle in a box. So for instance, in Boston, in LA, in other places where people are interested, we can give this kit to the Equinox manager and say, here's what you need to do, and let's see how it goes. And if we start to see momentum, then we know next year, let's focus on Boston. Or LA seems like a really interesting opportunity. But we do believe that there's a ton of opportunities still in the Northeast. So like the Pan Mass Challenges, I think we can hopefully raise $20+ million a year just staying within 100 or 200 miles of Sloan Kettering.
Jen, David, you inspire us. Thanks for enriching the reunion and enriching our lives. And that's it. Enjoy the rest of your reunion. Enjoy the night.